A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held Tuesday, August 27, 2024, beginning at 5:30 p.m. at the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom, Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District, 2000 North 23rd Street, McAllen, Texas, 78501. Items listed on this agenda may be taken in an order other than as shown on this agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. At this meeting, there may be discussion and action by the board on items and subjects listed as follows. Call the meeting to order. I have done so at 5:30 p.m. We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you, and our condolences to the families of the two Nikki Rose students, Kevin and Adan, that we lost earlier in this month and during the summer. And now we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this moment, before we go to item number 4, I need a motion to move up item 8A.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Rivera and a second by Trustee Regalado. We are moving up item 8A. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Item 8A, discussion and possible action to adopt a proclamation regarding Deaf Awareness Month. Item submitted by Dr. Rosalba Hoyos. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, the Board of Trustees, Administration would like to raise awareness regarding deaf individuals by proclaiming the month of September as the Deaf Awareness Month. Mr. Mark May, Director of Marketing and Communication, will introduce our students, and Ms. Sofia Peña, our Board President, will read the proclamation. Administration is recommending action on this item.
So moved.
Second.
I have a move by Trustee Aliceda and a second by Trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. May?
All right, thank you very much, Madam President. And we're going to start with, from Roosevelt Elementary, Emma Esqueda. And she is with RDSPD Supervisor Robin Ellis.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
And next up is Michael Oliver Bakelma. It's from Escandon. And he is with Idalia Salazar, instructional strategist with the Regional Day School Program for the Deaf. Then we have from Roosevelt Elementary, Ariana Rivera. And next up is Cloud Bakelma. And she is with Stephanie Rodriguez, who is a student support specialist with the Regional Day School for the Deaf program. Hector Macias from Fossum Middle School. Alexander Sanchez from Memorial High School. Adriana Lopez from Memorial High School. Miss Beatriz Garcia, the RDSPD teacher from Memorial High School. Miss Luz Martinez, an RDSPD paraprofessional from Escandon Elementary. Then we have Leah Mancha from Escandon, and holding her is Miss Lisa Lara, the RDSPD director. And following up, we have the special education coordinator, Dr. Maria Acosta. We have the special education coordinator, Carla Barnett. And we have the special education executive director, Maribel Elizondo.
At this time, I will read the proclamation. Let me let everybody get settled in real quick. Are we good? McAllen ISD proclamation. Whereas the deaf population includes a wide range of individuals from those that are born profoundly deaf and use sign language as a primary means of communication to those with a degree of hearing loss who use hearing aids or other forms of amplification and communication models. And whereas the purpose of Deaf Awareness Month is to raise awareness of the issues and the culture of people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and to promote equal access to information, educational programs, resources, and services for deaf individuals. And whereas we celebrate the many unique and individual achievements of people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and we thank the many professionals and educators dedicating to assisting and educating individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. Now, therefore, I, Sofia Merced Peña, member of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District, do here proclaim the month of September 2024 be observed as Deaf Awareness Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the McAllen Independent School District to be affixed this 27th day of August 2024.
One thing I would like to add right quick is the RDSPD does invite students, staff, parents, and the community members to participate in the 3rd annual Deaf World event, which will be Friday, September 27th. That'll be from 5:30 to 8 in the evening at Brown Middle School, and the event is free and open to the public. You can come and learn about deaf culture, sign language, deaf education, careers, resources, and much more. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. That'll be September 27th. That's a Friday from 5:30 to 8 at Brown Middle School. And also, board members, if you could stay there for 1 second, we have some gifts that the RDSPD would like to give to you guys.
I know, I was going to say. She has one. I'll be right No public comment? Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, we went out of order.
Thank you, everyone. We move back on over to item number 4, public comments. We have one public comment. Mr. David Vasquez. Mr.
Here
Vasquez,
are the
we have a
public
little-
comment procedures. Number 1, individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up at McAllenisd.org at least 1 hour prior to the start of the scheduled meeting. Number 2, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 2 minutes per meeting. Number 3, the board shall not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. Thank you.
Información a personas para comentarios públicos. Número 1. Las personas que deseen participar durante la parte de la reunión designada por comentarios públicos deberán registrarse en McAllenisd.org al menos 1 hora antes del inicio de la reunión programada. Número 2. Los comentarios de un individuo a la Junta no excederán de 2 minutos por reunión. Y por último, número 3. La Junta no tolerará la perturbación de la reunión por parte de los miembros del público asistente. Gracias.
Mr. Vasquez, you'll have 2 minutes. We won't interrupt you. Timer's up on there.
Okay.
Right ahead.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on that proclamation. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. My name is David Vasquez. I'm the Director of Operations for Regional Justice Medical Group, also known as RJC Medical Group. We're here to offer the most advanced technology available to aid in the diagnosing of a traumatic brain injury, also known as the TBI, specifically concussions. RJC Medical Group uses the iBox by Oculogica, the first FDA-approved Grade 2 medical device. It is fast and highly accurate. We can perform this assessment and provide results within 4 minutes. The iBox is clinically validated and has been part of more than 14 publications, and most recently, we were approved to provide concussion assessments to the American veterans. More information is available at the website, and I provided the information also on print. Most recently, also, we've been also selected from the Department of Defense to provide assessments, not only locally, but to service members internationally. Also with that, we help patients with get physicals, counseling, chiropractic care, and physical therapy. We address symptoms like headaches, nausea, vomiting, digestive issues, fatigue, lack of concentration, sleepiness, and or not being able to sleep, cardiovascular and pulmonary difficulties that may be present as a result of a concussion. We help get the patient back to normal through strength and conditioning, reflexes, and responsive lower extremity exercises. Our medical team also provides injury prevention and education while also addressing extracurricular activities on and off campuses, which includes risky behavior, pranks, dares, etc., that might lead to injury or life-altering medical situations. I mentioned earlier an objective type of testing. The difference between our assessments and what the regular protocol is, MRIs, X-rays, and CT scans are subjective. Ours is total objective. In other words, there's no interpretation. And this is just for informational purposes, just to let you know that that service is available here in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you.
We move on to item number 5, public hearing to discuss the proposed 2024 tax rate. Welcome to the public hearing. In this hearing, we will be discussing the proposed 2024 tax rate. Ms. Lorena Garcia, Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will proceed with the presentation. Ms. Garcia.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gutierrez. Tonight, we bring forward the public hearing for the proposed tax rate for tax year 2024. We would like to thank the Board of Trustees in supporting the district in this financial process that we've been undertaking for the last several months. We also would like to recognize our district's vision, mission, as well our executive leadership, administrative staff, and our CFO, Iris Luna. This is the public notice that was posted in the Monitor on August 17, 2024. We were required to publish a notice advising our community of the public hearing, the date and the location. And the purpose, of course, of this hearing tonight is to discuss McAllen ISD's tax rate that will be up for approval in a later agenda item. So in accordance with the tax code, Texas Tax Code, Section 26.05, the Hidalgo County Chief Appraiser has certified to our district, and this happened on July 19th, an estimate of the taxable value of property within the school district. The total appraised value of all the property for this year is estimated at $13,248,368,297, which is an increase in comparison to last year, which was $12,706,655,531 last year. However, there are exemptions, and so this is further reduced. So the total taxable value for tax year 2024 is $9.5 billion. And this is also an increase in comparison to last year, which was 9.0 billion. So the county is estimating a 6% growth in property values. For the 2024 and 2025 school year, which results in the 24 tax year, McAllen ISD is proposing a total tax rate of 0.9966. This is about almost half a penny less than what our tax rate was last year. It was at $1.0011, and the tax rate is composed of two different tax rates. There's the maintenance and operation, which we are proposing at 0.8350, and the interest and sinking, which is used to pay our bond debt, that is being proposed at 0.1616. Now, the maintenance and operation tax rate, that one is determined by TEA. They have a calculation, what they call the maximum compressed tax rate. Since 2019, there have been efforts for property tax reduction. And as you can see, effective 2019, you see that our tax rate on the maintenance and operation side has been decreasing. So consequently, since we planned our budget in May, June, that tax rate has gone down because of the tax rate compression. Almost, well, actually, it went down a little bit over a penny. So that does impact our collections. That does reduce that. And then the difference that it went down from last year to this year, we shifted that over to the interest and sinking fund because we will also be proposing a defeasance of bond payments, and that will help us defease more bonds than we had originally planned. So McAllen ISD is one of the few school districts in Region 1 actually that is not currently at the tax rate floor. In the state of Texas, about 585 districts are at the tax rate floor, so they don't see the compression like we see it. And the point of me mentioning that is that that's something that very likely to be that we will see in the coming years, because we are about 4 cents, a little bit over 4 cents above the floor. So there's more compression to be coming. The tax collections for 24-25 school year are expected to decrease from what was budget, a total of 3.5 million due to the tax rate compression. And also we did have a higher estimate in the preliminary values in April, May of property values from what was finally certified in July. So we should be able to offset this. We're already seeing about a 1.5 million or more actually reduction in payroll costs efforts that were done this summer since the budget was prepared. In addition to that, we are also seeing an increase in enrollment, an uptick. As a matter of fact, today we posted 66 more students in enrollment than what we planned our budget with. So that should gain us additional state revenue. So the proposed, to wrap this up, the proposed tax rate, total tax rate is 0.9966. And again, I repeat that it is almost half a penny lower than last year. What you will see in the tax rate adoption resolution, there is some language that does say that this will raise additional taxes. And the reason for that is because the state also requires that we calculate a no new revenue tax rate. And essentially, that basically means what tax rate would the district have if they were to collect the same amount of property taxes that they collected the prior year. So that rate is actually lower than the 0.8350 that we are recommending. So that's why the language reads like that. So you will see that in the motion and in the resolution. But in terms of total tax rate, it is a decrease. At this time, I would like to open it up for questions. Since it's a public hearing, members of the public are also welcome to provide questions.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to make a comment on this proposed public hearing for the proposed tax rate for 2024? Okay. All right, thank you. I guess
Thank you.
this concludes this closes up the public hearing. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 6, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam President and Board of Trustees. Item 6A, kids excited on the first day of school. We had a very successful first day of school, and so far it's been a week and 2 days that we started school, and it's been a great start. Everyone is on board, and teachers, staff, parents, students, and it's been exciting times that we got to see the kids back, and everything's going very smoothly. So we started the school year on a high note, and we had our cameras out there to capture the excitement of our students and our parents dropping off our kids at school, our buses, and everyone just excited about seeing our kids back in school. And we have a video on this. If we can play the video at this time.
Super cute. I'm glad everybody's back. Item 6B, General Assembly to welcome back our teachers and staff. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, there was a lot of excitement for our teachers and our staff. They were also very excited to be back to work earlier this month, and we had our annual Back to School General Assembly at McAllen High School Auditorium. We also have a video about that assembly that we had with all the staff, and if you can play the video.
message was really about dreaming, about not giving up on those dreams, and also working to make those dreams come true. I really love the support that you receive. We get supported by our administration, we're supported by our parents, our community, our peer teachers, and I just love that feel of community, feel of a family here in McAllen ISD.
Great pride for our district, being able to just inspire and hopefully uplift them, get them ready for the next school year. I mean, the event was great, pumped me up, and I hope it pumped everybody up. And I just can't wait to get this year started. My message today is to get teachers ready, you know, and if I stumble, they're going to be there to lift me up. We'll get it done, and we'll get the new school year going.
Really well done, everybody. Thank you for everybody that participated in that. And I really like the format, and I think we saved a whole bunch of money this year, right?
Absolutely,
So-
we did, using our own facilities.
Using our own facilities, and we saved a bunch of money. So, great job, everybody. Item 6C, pre-kinder camp gets our little kids ready for a big year. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, this was also another exciting event that we did right before school started. Before school began, we held a camp for pre-kinder students so that they can get acclimated to the school environment. Parents brought them in, teachers were there, and they did a tour of the school. They visited their classrooms. They got a really nice T-shirt that we provided for each of the pre-K students, and it was a very, very successful camp that we had. And I tell you what, by doing this camp, we had a lot less kids crying on the first day of school because they got to see the school beforehand and visited their classroom beforehand. And it really helped transition them on the first day a lot smoother by doing this camp. So we have a video of that we'd like to show everyone. Go ahead and play the video.
My son, he's 4 years old and he'll be attending pre-K. Before this, he was in daycare, so he's kind of grown out of it already, and he's excited to start learning and being in a big kid's school now. So we decided to choose McAllen because it has a lot of opportunities for the community. We felt that the school district was really good and that they would be able to learn a lot. So that's the reason why we chose McAllen. We felt like there's a lot of opportunities. It's always good to be able to watch them learn and grow. So I encourage that to any parent. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this community. We really appreciate it. And both my wife and I, we're excited for him to start. A little scared, a little nervous, but we know that he's in good hands.
And we move on to item number 7, recognitions. We have none. Item 8, our proclamation, which we did earlier. Item 9, donations. We have none. Item 10, consent items.
Madam President, I'd like to move item 10L out of consent. I make a motion to move item 10L.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee Regalado to remove item 10L from the consent agenda. So we will move 10L. Got that. Okay, so back to our consent agenda, which is item 10A, discussion and possible action on interlocal cooperative contract number 25, environmental science and aquatic science, City of McAllen, Quinta Mazatlan. I'm not going to read through them all, but
Madam
consent
President,
agenda is.
I'll make a motion to approve item 10A through M without L, with the exception of L.
Okay, I think we need to go back and vote on 10L first, moving it, don't we? I didn't ask for a vote.
Did you?
I said,
Oh,
we have the motion by trustee Aliceda, second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. So 10L will be removed Thank you, and I realized that as I moved
Okay,
on.
So, Madam President, I move we approve item 10A through M with the exception of L.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor of consent items 10A through 10M with the exception of 10L, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Give me a second to catch up. Item 11.
Do we have to go to
10L.
10L?
10L, I'm so sorry. Item 10L, discussion and possible action on memorandum of understanding number 2025-097 between the City of McAllen and McAllen Independent School District for shared facilities use. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam President, Board of Trustees, we have a memorandum of understanding with the City of McAllen, and the administration utilizes this shared agreement to enhance the quantity and quality of our year-round athletic programs and services for students and youth between the City of McAllen and McAllen ISD. So this memorandum of understanding is to share facilities. And if you look at the backup information, we have the facilities itemized, what the city is requesting from McAllen ISD, as well as what McAllen ISD is utilizing from the City of McAllen. And so we are recommending action on this item.
Do you have any discussion?
I just thought it was important for the community to know that the items in there, it's the McAllen Sports Park, north and south, the multipurpose pavilion, the municipal swimming pool, the Boys and Girls Club swimming pool, the De Leon multipurpose field, the Bicentennial soccer fields, the Springfest Sports Park, Fireman's Park, municipal softball complex, the MISD tennis courts, Nicky Rowe High School natatorium, the Memorial Boxer Stadium, Nicky Rose Stadium, De Leon Middle School Field. I just think it's important for the community to understand all the ways that we overlap and we help each other with the city, and we're all here to help the children in our community, and I think it's great that we have these memorandum of understandings with the City of McAllen. So I just want to say thank you to the City of McAllen, and we really enjoy their partnership with us. So I move that we approve this.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda to approve item 10L and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Items 11, instructional services, instructional leadership, human resources, business and operations, and Board of Trustees items. 11A, instructional services items. 11A1, report regarding dual enrollment program. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, this is an item that's been requested. Administration will provide a report on the McAllen Independent School District dual enrollment program. Dr. De Hoyos, our Associate Superintendent, will share more information about this dual enrollment program and some data that we have collected to present to the board and to the community. And this item is for information purposes only, but I'll go ahead and turn it over to Dr. De Hoyos to go over her PowerPoint.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. Good evening, board. Our dual enrollment program allows high school students to take college-level courses and earn college credit while still in high school. And the purpose is to accelerate their learning, also prepare them for college, provide cost savings to the family, increase motivation and engagement, and also exposure to different fields and skill development. We are in partnership with 3 institutions: South Texas College, the University of Texas Austin, and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. And those are the different programs that we are partnered with. So to start off, the dual enrollment partnership with South Texas College, we have the data for the past 3 years and also the current year here in the last row. So the first row, as you can see, is the school years that we will be referring to. The second column will be the number of STC courses. This is unduplicated numbers of courses. Then we have the unduplicated number of students enrolled in those courses, and then we have the number of attempted credits. And then the last column, we have the percentage earned of those attempted credits. Now, if we look at tuition savings for families, for last year, the 23-24 school year, we had 11,381 credits earned by our students. And if we calculate our price, we have saved our families over $1.8 million in just 1 year alone. Excuse me. Now, this does come with a cost to the district. So if we calculate the tuition that we pay to South Texas College, the textbooks, the lab resources, transportation, and also teacher stipends, we have around $424,000 that we spend in 1 year, at least in the 23-24 school year for this program. The other program that we have in partnership with UT Austin, which is the on-ramps program, again, similar chart, unduplicated number of courses, unduplicated number of students, and then attempted credits, earned credits, and then also the percentage for the earned credits. If we look at last year, the 23-24 school year, 1,071 credits were earned by our students. That's at a passing rate of 65%. Again, if we do the math for each credit hour at the price of $386 an hour, our families have saved $413,406 just in that year alone. Now, this program costs the district a little less because we are not paying building, we're not paying for transportation. So as you can see, this year, this past year, we paid $53,300 for that program. And then the most recent one that we have with our University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, which is our Collegiate Academy, and we're projecting to save families $724,825. Now, we do have 79 students in the program. They're taking 4 classes each semester, and we're expecting them to earn 1,975 credit hours. Now, we have obviously pending data there because we're talking about this school year. And the district costs between textbooks, lab resources, transportation, and building expenses were at $468,000. Now, we know we're very pleased to offer dual enrollment to our students because we know that dual enrollment is the passport to post-secondary education. Now, this is not available, or we can have this done if we don't have the support of the board, of the superintendent, and also the campus staff. And all these departments that I have listed here, they contribute to this effort as well. So for that, I want to thank you, and I want to thank all the departments listed here. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thank you.
I just have a quick question because I got a phone call actually
Yes.
about this today. At what grade are they able to start obtaining credit for?
It varies depending on the program, but for the most part, I know that they can take, for the South Texas College dual credit program, they can start in the 9th grade. Usually is the 2nd semester after they have passed all the TSI tests.
Okay. I think that's great to see the number of students that are able to obtain credits through STC, especially. That's a high number for STC, and so I try my best to encourage them to do it, but thank you for answering those questions.
Thank you.
And not so much a question, but if I may, Madam President, I just wanted to thank you, Dr. De Hoyos and Ms. Nino, for answering some of the questions that I had before today's meeting, and also for presenting this information, because as a board and with the superintendent, we have the task of setting those goals and deciding on the offerings that we're going to make available to our students. And so it's very helpful to be able to see the successes and the percentage as well as the cost to the district. We are stewards of the tax dollars, so we need to be able to make important and prudent decisions about what offerings we're making. And I know we had discussed it previously, but I do really look forward to seeing more information about why students are not getting those credits. Is it because they're dropping? What percentage is because they're dropping out of on-ramps or deciding not to take the grade? or because they just did not pass the class. Because I think that's also really important for us to know when we're making these decisions, particularly with regard to on-ramps and now that we have the Collegiate Academy, because those are basically the same thing.
Absolutely.
So, but I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just want to say that I've always told the parents and the students that dual enrollment is like a scholarship that they're earning with us. Those are expenses that they don't have to make in college. If we can save a student 30 hours, 60 hours of college, that in itself is already a scholarship because they don't have to acquire that expenditure. It's with us for free for them, and it's money well invested because we are also evaluated by the accountability system on college, career, and military readiness. And so students who participate in dual enrollment helps us also with generate additional funds from the state under CCMR, College, Career, Military Readiness, as well as kids earning college hours. So it's a win-win for the district as well as for the kids.
Yes.
The only thing I would have added to this, so that we could get a better understanding, or I guess a full understanding, is through our AP classes and what courses are offered, how many kids actually take the test, how many kids actually pass the test, and if that's by campuses. Because I think it's important, you know, our kids can say that they're taking the AP classes, but for some reason either not passing or not getting credit, or depending on which college they go to. I know not all colleges accept some of those credits from other districts, but I think AP would also be a key factor so that parents can see that their children are in these advanced placement courses and they're also saving money for college if they pass those exams. So I think that would be a perfect addition to this presentation as well.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, our Director for Advanced Academics presented to the Cabinet on Monday on all those reports, and I could have added here, but I know that the request was for dual enrollment, but I can definitely add that to and email it to you all.
Yeah. I think Trustee Kettleman also would like to see that for the
Yes,
next
definitely.
meeting. I think that would be great.
Oh, then a report?
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
a
bring it
report.
over. And in fact, we presented it yesterday at Cabinet. Ms. Nitsch presented this information on AP. I did tell her to put it in our website
Yes.
so that we could be
That's perfect.
transparent and
Yeah.
informative, but we'll also bring it as a presentation for the next meeting.
I think it's great if, you know, I don't know at what point, whether it's 7th or 8th grade, but where we really update parents, because we do offer so much, and sometimes it's lost in translation between middle school counselors, high school counselors. But maybe that's a discussion at, you know, open house in middle school to kind of get those 8th grade parents thinking about, you know, freshman offerings that we have, because it is huge for families. And I think we need to do a better job of marketing ourselves and what we do offer and the savings that we've offered, you know, or afforded to these families. So, but that would be great. Thank you.
I think the only caution with that, with data, is my recollection is a few years ago is we were in our district, we were having everybody in an AP class, we were paying for everyone to take the test. And other districts don't do that. You can opt out of the test. And so sometimes it looks skewed, like, oh, we had 2,000 students take it, but only, you know, 200 pass, whereas other districts they're only having those 200 take it because they know. So I think we have to be very careful when we look at the data and look at our pass rate. And
That is true.
because we pay in this district, we pay to have everybody
For
tested.
everyone that
In other
takes.
districts, you could say they're
Yeah.
picking
You
who's
can
going to
opt out.
test it. Yes, so we have to be
You're
careful when
right.
you present that data.
Okay. So I had also jotted down AP. I do think that AP should be included in our higher ed offerings, only because, well, it is extremely rigorous, and I am an advocate for dual credit because it's right in our backyard and it's got, you know, great supports. So do all the other programs, but it is important that we see that reflected in our higher ed options, because the kids that do take that and pass it, well, it's a comprehensive test. It's an, you know, extremely difficult test. So I'd like to see it recognized, not independently from dual credit, but as our higher ed, our gateways to post-secondary So I really appreciate the work, though.
Yeah.
Good
Or-
numbers.
And maybe IB as well, because we are. in
Absolutely,
that.
those are all options that our kids have, and I think when we leave them out, it could cause a little bit of confusion because, parents do see AP as part of, that higher ed piece that we offer, and so, but great work, the numbers are getting better, that makes me super happy. I know that I've been a little bit of a pain in everybody's ear over dual credit, but, I'm glad to see the numbers getting better. Thank you.
You're
Anybody
welcome.
else? Okay, that was your information. Item 11B, instructional leadership items. We don't have any. 11C, human resources items. 11C1, report regarding 2023-2024 McAllen ISD Professional Employee Opinion Survey. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam President, Board of Trustees, the Texas Association of School Boards and McAllen Independent School District, they created and conducted an employee opinion survey. Dr. Canales, our Chief Human Resources Officer, will share more information on this item, and this is for information purposes only. So go ahead, Dr. Canales.
Yes, sir, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gutierrez. So here's the survey we have here for the employee survey that was conducted last year in February. It ran approximately 1 month for the month of February. Started, I believe, February the 5th is the date that we have there. So if you look on here, all employee responses were submitted directly to TASB. A total of 1,063 employees were participated, yielding a response rate of 42%, which is below the 2023 response rate of 83% from the previous year. Of those, 911 were teachers, professional employees, yielding a response rate of 43% for that group, which is less than the 2023 rate of 85%. So the data's, it's data. I'm going to kind of go over that with you right now. So here is the presentation by job type. How many administrators filled it out? You're looking at 93, which is 10%. The professionals there, teachers or librarians, 69%, instructional aides, 17%, and other professionals at 20%. And then there's a representation also by work location. High schools, 24% fill out the survey. Administration was 12%, elementary schools, 48%, and middle schools at 16%. You look at the numbers there, when you look at the blue, green, yellow, you're looking at the year 24, 23, 22, 21, and 20 being the light blue. So you can definitely see so this right here is factors that contribute to job satisfaction, compensation and benefits, 79%. Only 723 fill out that survey part of it. Say working conditions, job security, work that is meaningful to me. Those are some of the questions that were asked by the teachers on our Likert scale. So the response categories were strongly agree, agree, disagree, strongly disagree, or no opinion or not applicable. The categories of strongly agree and agree were combined for the following charts to indicate a positive response. So you can see the numbers there from 24 all the way down to 20. The number of respondents, 766. Last school year from 2020 was over 1,500. 85%. I'm proud of the work I do for McAllen ISD. I like the work I do at 97%. Mostly I feel good about what I have accomplished. 95%. I understand what is expected of my job. 97%, when the previous year was 98. And I would recommend my campus to a friend as a good place to work. 81 to 85. I'd recommend my department to a friend as a good place to work as well. And then my job allows me to use my skills and abilities, which is very high there. And I would recommend the district to a friend as a good place to work. Here's part they fill out on district leadership, superintendent, and board of trustees. Just keep in mind, like I told you before, there's only 649 that filled it out. We just had a low number, so it could have been, skewed one way or skewed the other way. So it's just data that we give to our principals to look at. So I trust the district leadership there. I believe district leaders are honest and trustworthy. I believe district leaders value the employees of the district. And then here's our customer service ratings here. I've been trained and understand the customer service elements. I understand my customer service efforts contribute to district goals. Those are all pretty much in line. So you can see the different years, they're within there's nothing that's really skewed that you see that's big numbers that are big drops, right, for our campus or for our district. Here's curriculum instruction support, right? So I know we've been working really hard as a district as well on creating systems in place for our curriculum instruction. If you look at it there, I have sufficient access to resources and materials. We know that we do a great job with our coordinators there. I have sufficient access to instructional technology. Staff development provides teachers with useful knowledge and skills for their content area. I am satisfied with the resources provided to me with special populations. Teachers are held to a high professional standard. Right, so if I look at this part of it here, you can see that's kind of one we've got to work on because, you know, when you look at the yearly averages, you can work on that from there. I'm involved in decision-making about instructional aspects. Teachers have a role in selecting data analysis. Here's a portion on campus environment. Right, principal is effective in leading my campus to achieve its goals, and then my principal treats me with respect. Here's some parts on student discipline that teachers answered as well, and campus staff. The principal provides leadership in settings and maintaining behavioral standards for students. Our student code of conduct is consistently and fairly enforced, and I'm given appropriate assistance to resolve disciplinary problems in my classroom. And here's one, our relationship with their supervisor. That could be with their campus principal. It could be with their assistant principal at the campus as well. Supervisor sets clear goals and expectations or objectives. I get the training I need to do my job effectively. I receive useful feedback on my job performance from my evaluator. My supervisor makes timely decisions. And my work is appreciated by my supervisor. So if you look at the data there, it's all within the same kind of a scope there. Here's a relationship with coworkers they have at their own campus. I can depend on my coworkers. I like the people I work with. I feel loyal to my immediate team or group, and then my team works well together. And then here's some on working conditions. The hours I work are reasonable. My workload is appropriate for my position. I feel safe in my work environment. I feel my job with the district is secure, and then I have the equipment, tools, and supplies I need to do my job. Here's a part on district communication in different areas, so I understand my efforts contribute to the district's goals. Policies and procedures affecting my work are communicated clearly. The district shares important news and events. Employees have a way to express concerns to district leadership through the JPCC or the lead committee. Here's one on compensation and benefits. My pay is fair for the work I do. I know the district did provide a raise this school year. I know we're looking at that for the future as well. So we all know we're working towards that as well. I believe my pay is competitive with other districts. I know that we're working really hard to ensure that we're competitive and have competitive salaries. The leave time provided for me is adequate. Kind of the same realm there. The district provides enough information about benefits to my needs, and I get help with problems or questions about benefits when I need it. And that's the survey there. So just know, I mean, that's just data, right? We look at different data and see how many people filled out the survey, and we work it from there. Dr. Gutierrez?
Just the one that stood out the most, obviously, is our pay as a district that we need to continue working on and see how we can continue be more competitive as a district with our salaries. A lot of this sometimes it's based on what's going on in the state, and we had some lengthy discussions during the budget workshop. But that's the area that I know that it was a big red flag for me to continue working on and providing hopefully better salaries for our employees, because that's the one that stood out, the one that we need to work on and be competitive so that our staff feels appreciated for all the work they do for our kids here in McAllen ISD.
Absolutely. Any questions?
I do have one, unless somebody else has one first.
I have some questions, but you go ahead.
No, you go
Thanks, Dr. Canales, for
Yes,
putting
ma'am.
this together. It's super informative and super helpful. As a former elementary teacher, I always looked forward to these surveys. I know not everyone participates in them, but the people who do, it's just really important that we have staff and administration who get to have an anonymous time to kind of share their opinions or concerns or whatever is on their mind. So I'm glad that we do this. So one concern is why it dropped from 83% last year to 42%. Do you have any insight into why
On that
there's
one,
such a big
the
drop?
only thing I can think of it, and I'll talk when I was at the campus level, is that I think we only got maybe one or two email respondents, and then a lot of times when Tabby sends a survey out, sometimes it ends up hitting your spam or junk mail box.
Mhm.
So if teachers don't go in there and check it, I know as principal, we told them, hey, don't forget to get in there, check your junk mail box. Some teachers do it, some don't. I know there was times where you would tell teachers to kind of do it, and then they felt the other way around, like the pressure of, well, why are you making me do it, right? So it was kind of like, it could have been some of that part of it. And then I think it was only up, from my understanding, was just the month of February. Sometimes it's gone from February all the way to maybe March, and then sometimes it's been extended sometimes.
Mhm.
But for this one, it was from the month of February. So it was
Okay.
almost a whole month.
Okay, so I was curious, what was the window of time you'd say about a month in
It
February?
was February 5th to the end of, the extension was to, I believe, March 5th, but the data only showed from from February 5th all the way to February.
Okay.
So nobody past February ended up filling anything out at that time.
And is that a TASB recommendation or was that a district decision? Does anyone?
That I don't
For
know. I
the
would,
link?
The date?
Right, the window of the
The
survey.
That's usually a district decision.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because that's something that we could probably look into for why our numbers were so low, especially because that's a crazy time with beginning of STAR and in the spring semester. So we can think about that. So reflecting on some of these numbers, because again, I think it's really important that our staff have an opportunity to get involved with the survey. What is the plan for next year?
Well, we did not, it's about $15,000 to do
Okay.
this survey. I did not put it in the budget for this year because we were looking at all the cost savings. I understand this survey has been done for the last, over 10 years?
Over 10 years.
Over 10
Correct.
years. It's anonymous. I don't know what's been done with all of these surveys other than what I read in the years past on the paper, but I don't know what outcome has come out of those surveys, because that's a question that I have not gotten an answer, like what happens to those surveys? And it's been going on for quite a bit. I mean, maybe 15 years, I can say, and other than put stories on the paper, but I don't know what else is done with this. Especially because sometimes it's difficult with surveys because they're done anonymously, and I don't know how it is that we can use that data other than spend the $15,000. I don't know of any other district that does this kind of surveys, especially being anonymous.
I have a comment, unless you're.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I certainly think, I agree that it's important for us to know how our people feel. I am kind of shocked to hear the price tag on that because, I mean, I'm not super tech savvy, but I know you can do a SurveyMonkey and it's pretty easy. So I would like us to continue to do the survey, but I'm sure we can find a way to not spend that. But I think it's important for us, if we haven't seen a change or anything come of the surveys, then I think that lands on our shoulders because we've got to use, if we're going to collect the data, it should be in the spirit of doing something about it. And I don't know how that is because I'm not in your position, but I would like to see us continue it and find a way to incorporate or address the concerns that are provided and celebrate the accolades that are given as well.
Right. And on that note, I just think in general, it's a really important tool for developing and improving morale and communication and transparency, and also just kind of being on that ground level with all staff. And the way I think about it, I think, Trustee Regalado, you said it really nicely, but just like looking at our attendance for our students, if it was low and they weren't coming to school, I don't think we would say, all right, let's cancel school. We have a department, we'd put a team together, we would respond in a different way. And I think if our numbers are low for this survey, we can really reflect on the practices that we're doing and how we can get a little bit more buy-in from teachers and administration, everyone across the board, so we can have better participation in this too.
I have a comment as well. I agree with Trustee Regalado. I think in most large corporations, you have some kind of feedback from the employees. I'm disappointed in the number because at $15,000 for an estimated 900, you're spending $16 a survey. I know that's not anybody's fault, but in terms of, okay, what did we get back out of it? Well, for $16, what did we learn if 43% of the people contributed? I don't know if there's another kind of survey to do. I don't know if, like what Trustee Regalado suggested, if it's the confidentiality of it that's costing it, and I'm getting a yes, then, and that's obviously important. If we can explore other options, I think that'd be interesting.
We'll look at other possible surveys that we can do without that cost. I mean, there's plenty out there that we can do electronically. And perhaps look at a timeline that is more than just 2 weeks, because I see that back there that maybe it was 2 weeks, could be the whole month of February, but maybe give it a timeline and send an email to everyone and notify everyone. Of course, the more feedback we get, the more accurate the survey will be.
Yeah.
I will say that in years past, like in 2015, I remember the big thing on the survey, there was like 4 things, and one of them was more help with student discipline. And administration took that and pivoted, and then they put all sorts of practices in place, and student discipline is no longer an issue. But back then, that was a big issue. I was looking at something, it was student discipline, and it was more time to plan, and it was compensation. And it's always kind of the exact same things, but like, I don't think that the board ever responded to the community saying, or the teachers saying, oh, we heard you and we're acting on it. They just did it. So I think that administration does look at it and they do act on it, but just in ways that's not so public. But I do agree that I thought this was a mandate by TEA that we had to have these surveys. We've been doing them that I know of since 2014 and paying for them. So today I was looking, it's a TASB recommendation that we do it, and that we use TASB is the recommended thing because it's anonymous, because staff doesn't want to. They're afraid on a Google survey or something that we're going to see their email addresses, so they're not going to be forthcoming. And so that's, I guess, why the board has always said, okay, do it through TASB. But I do think, I agree, we do need a way for people to speak their mind and say it free, speak freely. But it should be something that's open all time of the year, not just a certain time of the year. So if you have an issue coming up, you should be able to get online on some manner anonymously and say, I'm having this issue, I'm having this problem or something. So I look forward, or we all look forward to some, way that administration can tackle that issue that's cost neutral.
I agree. And then another question, because I got a few phone calls about this as well. Every year in the past, we've had, as far as I know, we've had JPCC present this. So there's been a change. I'm just curious.
Well, I think a survey that is conducted by the district should be presented by administration, because the data is there. I mean, it's the data is not going to change whether we present it, but I think it should come from administration, since we're going to have to be looking into it. Mm-hmm. However, Dr. Canales, has already put in a meeting with the JPCC to review this survey. But I felt that this survey should come from administration to present to the board, since we're the ones handling the survey, and it's from the beginning to the end.
I gave them the survey on I believe it was August the 1st, and we gave them all the data. And then I have a meeting set up with them on September the 11th. I believe it's our first meeting. Mm-hmm. And then just know every single campus gets their own campus data. So as a campus principal, you look at your data and you kind of determine what your needs and growth are based on that data, even though it's not everybody that responded. Those numbers, when I looked at individual campus data, you didn't see like 88 to like 50s. I mean, it was 88, 87, 89, 90, 88, 89. There weren't too big of jumps, so at least there's data for principals to look at that to say, you know what, I can look at discipline. Did it go down a lot, and make determinations on what they need to do for their campus during that time. But it was an anonymous survey, and I think principals will look at this and change what needs to be changed based on the data that they that they have.
But I do like to involve JPCC as much as I can. Like, when we went through the whole budget process and going over the decisions that we were making, we met with them several times, and I like to continue getting them involved and hearing them out because they represent the teacher organizations. So we need to hear from them, and they know that we're going to be as involved as we can with them as we make decisions moving forward.
And everything they said covered pretty much what I was going to say, but I think that this is what happens when, for the last 10 years, we have had the survey. Questions are generally the same, always the same, nothing gets done. So more and more, I think people start to, I'm not going to take the time to do that because I've got 10,000 other things and nothing's going to get done anyway. And so when you have that kind of feeling or atmosphere, and people will just tend to let it go. And if we haven't done anything with it, then does it really matter to them that they fill it out? No. I think they'd be more engaged if they saw us take those items, even the one where there's a slight change, and look at it and say, hey, how can we improve there? So that people feel like, oh my gosh, that one person that took the time to fill out, the whole thing, and even though their vote was only going to change it a little bit, thinks, okay, made progress even on that one. Because when you have 88 or 89%, maybe we could be at 95%. Maybe we could be at a lot more. So it maybe just needs to be a whole new set of questions, reinvent the questions so that people are interested in actually filling them out. Because it's the exact same thing every single time. So give it another look, a refresh, and maybe numbers will get higher. But I do appreciate all the information and getting it out too. I know we took a little bit longer than usual and people were asking for it, so there it is.
Thank
Good. That was for informational purposes only. Item 11C2, discussion of the Texas Association of School Board TASB Localized Policy Manual Update 123, first reading. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, this is presented from TASB and reviewed by our staff. This update represents legal and local reference policies recently adopted by the state. Administration is presenting this item as a final reading. Dr. Canales, Chief Human Resources Officer, will share more information. This is for information purposes only, but this is from another update by TASB 123.
Correct. These are recommendations that TASB has given to us. This is, I don't know if you want to hit the slide there. So the slides here, it just kind of goes over the whole policy manual on the updates.
Yeah, I was like, are they on 123 or this one? Yeah, it's this one.
This is an update that every district gets by TASB. It's just to update our policies. But if there's any questions on any of the items? Are we bringing a second reading or just a first reading?
You're asking for action on this one tonight? So
We always do
no,
two.
Information. It's information.
The second one we vote on. The first one,
This says final.
It should be one that we read, we discuss it, and then we come back and vote on
come
it.
back with any changes and all of that. It says
11C2.
Information? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. But we're going to bring it the second reading if there's any questions. This is just a first reading.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So everything is blue are additions that they're added or that TASB is recommending. Everything in red is stuff that they're recommending get deleted from our local policies.
I know that we get the information ahead of time, but just for the sake of the community that's watching, can you walk us through or just tell us the highlights, what's changed or what's being recommended?
You have them marked up anyway, so go through the markups.
Sure. So the ones that are being talked about right now is our training and orientation. So for example, it says here, board member training and orientation. They're asking that we add the part there in blue that says a board member who receives written notice from the attorney General and the Member and the Complete Public Information Act. Training be directed to GGBA local, following the district's failure to comply with the PIA requirement, shall complete the training when the timelines described in law. The completion of the training is in response to such a notice cannot be delegated. Right, so they're just giving us information there. The previous one, that wasn't added on there, so they added all this stuff on there. Also, they added some stuff on ethics, conflict of interest, and disclosures that we have to do there. So in addition to disclosure required by law, a board member shall disclose to the board and person financial interest, business interest or obligation or relationship there in any way creates a potential conflict of interest with a vote on a pending matter. It also talks about board members shall not use coercive means or promise special treatment in order to influence board or district decisions, nor use the member's position to seek personal advantage. And it goes into BBF local. All right, so those are just some of the things there. I mean, it talks about safety risk management, emergency plans. The addition was added there to notice regarding violent activity. Superintendent shall develop procedures to notify parents regarding violent activity that has occurred or is being investigated at a campus or other district facility or at a district-sponsored activity. So just for transparency. I know that in our district we already do this already, so it's part of our practice already. Safety risk management, emergency plans. They took out some stuff there. They added the word district, and they took out some stuff on police officers employed by, they put each district police officer shall have the powers, privileges, and immunity of police officers on or off duty when the jurisdiction of the district, subject to limitations in law. Each district police officer shall, right? So it just tells you what exactly they have to be doing. There's part of our safety and risk management plans as well there. So everything that's deleted there in red, and then we added stuff in the blue there. So for example, body-worn cameras, a district police officer shall use a body-worn camera, right? Before it was, it just said district officers. Now they added the term police officers. For the district and in accordance with the positions of the district police department, body-worn camera program, each district police officer shall receive training on the program. So just really more specific to stuff that needs to be placed in our local policy. Same thing on the emergency management plan there. We just concur with Tasby. That one didn't change. I think it's on the next slide. It changed possibly. So just added language, everything that's added there in the blue areas.
Once this is approved and finalized, it's posted online.
Correct.
In our board policy. All of them are posted online.
So once I go back to TASB and say everything here was approved after the second reading, then TASB goes in and we change it in our policy, and then it's added to our big binder, and then added to the website, and all corrections are made. So this is all made public. So it's just stuff on library materials. On student rights and responsibilities, student and parent complaints and grievances, how the process works. And then items on public comments as well.
Okay, that was for informational purposes. Does anybody have any questions, comments? First reading, so you'll bring us back. Okay, thank you very much. Item 11C3, discussion of revision to policy EIC local. First reading, Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, the Texas Association of School Boards conducted a local policy review on July the 23rd and 24th of 2024 with a draft revisions prepared by TASB Policy Service. Dr. Canales, Chief Human Resources Officer, will have more information. And this item is for information purposes only as well. Go ahead.
We hear this on academic achievement. Dr. De Hoyos?
Well, the changes here have been some of the deals with the graduating class also in the calculation, it's just more of the wording that went from 9th grade to 12 for high school credit. And so 2 courses taken in grades 9 through 12 only, unless excluded below. So it was more of the wording, where there's also a change, if you can keep on moving, for the honors courses. There in the exclusion part, what they recommended is that it's also in the wording, where it was listed in bullets. They put it more in a paragraph form. And then also in the weighted grade system, where it says this policy and is designated in appropriate district publication, and then also in advance, all the where it says courses, TASB said it's understood that they're courses already because you're already addressing that. And so they advised that we delete the course, the word courses, and then part of the categories, we had advanced, honors, college prep, but we didn't have pre-AP. So they advised us to add that wording as well, and then to do away with standard, because standard, it's understood that it's no weight, and here we have a chart where it's giving you specifics on weight. And so they felt like, why do you have a row that says standard, which has no weight? So it was just those different additions that they added to that policy. Part of transfer grades also is the wording where it says properly documented courses. They recommended that we say courses that will be eligible to receive additional weight under the district weighted grade system. And then also where it says those, instead of those, we put the grades. Valedictorian, they recommended just also the wording where it says to be eligible for this local graduation honor instead of such recognition. And then as you can see, the red on number 1, 2, and the other 2 that was crossover. So it's more specific where it says number 2, be graduating after exactly 8 semesters of enrollment in high school and have completed the foundation programs with a distinguished level of achievement. In the previous copy, we didn't have the specified distinguished, the foundation program, and that had come about for some time already in our graduation requirements from the state. And so they were just updating to align to the requirements that we've gotten already. And breaking ties on when it comes to the weight, numerical, the weight from 2 students, that how do we break ties if they're tied to it? So they added, they took out, apply the following methods in this order to determine recognition as valedictorians, salutatorians, and they recommend that we put calculated a weighted numerical grade average only using eligible grades at the time of calculation. And then highest ranking graduates, we did not have that part there, so they recommended that we add it. The students meeting the local eligibility criteria for recognition as the valedictorian should also be considered the highest ranking graduate for purposes of receiving the honors graduate certificate from the state of Texas. One thing that they explained was that at times the valedictorian, by the time that they everything gets calculated, sometimes they are not the highest ranking graduate, so they receive the they don't receive the honors graduate certificate, but here they're recommending that it be the highest, they receive the certificate of the state. Very seldom it happens.
And all these changes are just recommended changes
It was
by TASB,
recommended.
just to update the policy.
Just to add it.
So, Dr. De Hoyos, in our packet, we're missing page 1 and 2 of the policy, and my apologies, I didn't notice that. We only had page 3 and 4. So I'll address on page 3 under valedictorian and on 173 in my packet. it talks about, on the valedictorian and salutatorian, item number 1, it says, must have been continuously enrolled in the same district high school. Do we want that in our district? I mean, we have lots of intra-district transfer, is that the right word? And so why would we say you have to be at the exact same school all 4 years?
Because at times, people might want to be ranked higher.
Oh, and they game
So
the
I am
system.
going to transfer to another high school and see
Okay.
where I land. So
Okay.
we don't want to do that. I think that it is important that students that have been working towards a certain rank and grades, they are enrolled in the same high school for all 4 years.
So what happens though if you come from out of district?
Oh, they get ranked
different.
within the
That's
the
different.
rank, right? That's different.
It's different coming from out of district, but if
Right.
you're in district and you
Right.
want, okay, I get
Right.
that. And then also it said, by graduating after exactly 8 semesters, what happens if you run through school really quick? If you graduate in 3 years?
Right, and they can be in the top 10, but not
the
as
valedictorian.
valedictorian.
Interesting.
Yeah, that always happens with the early graduates.
They're not able to be valedictorian.
Right.
Huh.
So I had that same question on that same valedictorian, salutatorian. So it says exactly 8 semesters. Is that full fall and spring, like summers don't count?
No.
Okay, summers don't count. And then it says be enrolled at the time of graduation ceremony, and that's blocked out. So what if, I mean, we've been having a lot of early grads like mid-semester or at the end of the fall. Those graduates, if they graduate, say, in December, do they get the opportunity to come back and walk in May? Or
They
they're
can.
already college
They
students
walk.
by
No,
then?
they can walk.
They will.
They can definitely walk. It's just for the valedictorian, salutatorian.
But so
spot.
then that's allowing college, because if they're graduating December and they go to college in this January, they can still come back and walk
Yes,
our grade,
In May.
our,
in May,
in May.
yes,
so
or now in
with their
June.
class.
Our graduation
That's why you
is gonna
took
be in
out
June.
being enrolled in, at the time, that's why you took
Okay.
out that?
Yeah, that's for it.
So along those same lines with trustee De La Garza was saying, what happens if you have somebody who's in the 4 years, they're coming in and out of the district? Like, let's say they're into something professional. And so they're in our school district for 1 semester and then they go somewhere and then they come back like for all 4 years. Could they still be valedictorian, salutatorian? By this, it would say no, right?
No. They can be ranked in the top 10, but not valedictorian.
I had a question about the, there was a line, I'm trying to find it, on page 173, breaking ties. In the case of a tie, weighted numerical grade averages, after calculation to the 4th decimal place, the district shall calculate a weighted numerical grade average only using eligible grades at the time of calculation. So what would make a grade not available at the time of calculation?
It will be the courses that are not weighted, they're electives. They're not eligible.
Not only that those count as
Only
academic.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure it wasn't like X class hasn't, like
Turned
we
their
haven't,
grades in.
yeah, something like that.
No,
Okay,
no.
thank you.
Okay. If we're good.
That was for informational purpose. Thank you. Thank you for providing that information. Item 11C4, discuss,
I don't think we finished.
did we finish? I thought we ran through the whole.
Yeah, we did.
So where, I guess in our packet, we have the academic achievement class ranking.
The regulation that's attached to the policy.
176.
Yeah, it was right.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no changes on it.
TASB, yeah. For the regulation, TASB mentioned, we don't need it to be read to the board or approved by the board. That's an administrative procedure. So we're bringing the policy update.
So I guess this is something other that I would like to, I guess, review or discuss. I know I've mentioned this before, but, and I know we've discussed when new courses are brought. I feel strongly that it should not be a committee that determines whether or not a course should be weighted or not. I've thought, and I know we've discussed it, but Whereas if a course is brought that there is a certain rubric that the district has implemented where a class is either qualified to be weighted or not. I just have strong feelings that when there's committees involved and if it's high school principals and, you know, depending on who's on the committee and who's in favor of a course being weighted, I just think it's too subjective. I think it's too emotional. And in the past, we have had administration and boards that were either in favor of IB program or not in favor of the IB program. And so I just have really strong feelings about these detailed steps on page 176 of this high school strategic team voting members. And I don't know what the solution is, but I would think that a very objective rubric for any new courses to determine weighting would be much better than personal biases on a committee.
Thank you for sharing that, because I had a discussion with Dr. De Hoyos about that. We are looking at that process because the practice in McAllen ISD has been that there's been a committee, a small committee that determines that, and there could be some feelings, emotions about certain courses or programs. We are looking at perhaps maybe expanding the committee to make it bigger and more representation than allow a few to make that decision. So we've discussed that process, maybe expanding it and involving more staff, more individuals to be more fair, and that a small group doesn't dictate the weighted courses. So I'm in favor of perhaps expanding and allowing more input from more individuals to have a more fair process.
Yeah, and I mean, I think still a rubric can still be implemented with a committee.
Yes.
Because then at least, I mean, you can still maneuver your way through a rubric, I guess, depending on who's ranking these courses. But I just think there's too much emotion, even, you know, depending on who's going out and presenting to the committee. Like, this is going to affect, you know, even if you're talking to middle school principals, this is going to affect your kids when they're at the home schools or the IB program or UTRGV Collegiate Academy or wherever these courses that these classes will be held. So I really hope that we look at how these detailed steps are evaluated for future courses.
And if I can add, the regulation that was really guided by TASB was also to include more members, like Dr. Gutierrez mentioned. In that regulation that we're not asked to bring it to the board, but it's part of your packet. In there, there's an Exhibit A that talks about the process of bringing another course for rank, and then also weighting it and taking a vote for that. Now, as I understand, in the past, there has been a small committee, mainly composed of campus principals. And so in this new regulation is adding more staff that are not really tied to a campus, but they're more district staff. And they are very good experts in the content. For example, our advanced academics director, being unbiased to what is that each campus might prefer. And so adding those staff members in the committee, which regardless if it's a rubric or not, there still has to be a committee that is going to review what was submitted. There has to be a group of people, right? That it's not going to be like only one person to make the decision. So in that regulation in your packet is there that that exhibit is part of the new regulation.
Well, I look forward to seeing what comes of this.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I have a comment to add, because didn't we just address something like this when we dealt with the theory of knowledge course, and how is that situation, because that was a board decision, how is that different than this regulation that we're
Okay,
looking at?
this regulation guides the district on how to go about looking at what courses we're going to approve to wait or not wait. The theory of knowledge item that was brought in the previous meeting was just to approve that it's an innovative course and that we can continue to offer that course as an innovative course. It's separate and apart than the policy. So we have to, any innovative course that is listed under innovative course under the Texas Education Agency list, we have to inform the board that we're offering that course, and it's under the innovative course. So we need to recognize it and approve it as an innovative course so that we can continue to offer it. That's one item, one thing. Even if we don't look at rank, even if we don't look at anything, we have to recognize that course as an innovative course.
But how is that different than this? Because this is talking about the process of determining courses other than core approved. So other than core approved would be innovative and
Right.
others.
Right.
So how is that different than, like, why, my question basically is, why is it not up to the board and why is it a committee?
It's that one was because we needed to get it approved by the board because we need to recognize it as an innovative course so that we can continue to offer it. That's one thing. This one is just on the courses that we wait for rank are core courses. Any other course, we can decide and say, okay, this is the reason behind the waiting the course. And that has to be by a committee and then we can bring it back to the board for information. But it's two different things. One has to be approved for innovative course so we can continue to offer it, even if it doesn't get weighted, even if it's just an elective. And this one is the updated policy that allows us to weight courses that are not necessarily in the core, Texas core list.
So taking the theory of knowledge, if y'all had just said it's not innovative, we're just deciding as administration, we're going to weight it, you could have done that.
In order to continue to offer the theory of knowledge course, we have to recognize it as an innovative course because it was recently changed from the IB courses list to an innovative course. So that one had to happen regardless.
Okay, I'll come to office hours.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
No, thank you.
Ranking
Sorry.
is always such a touchy subject, right? So a lot of work goes into that. We move on to 11C4, discussion and possible action of the resolution of the board delegating authority to accept a contract employee's resignation effective before the end of the school year. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, this resolution should be adopted by the board only if the board wishes to designate a district employee in addition to the superintendent to serve as a board's designee to accept a contract employee's resignation that will be effective before the end of the school year. Dr. Canales, Chief Human Resources Officer, will be available to answer any questions, and we recommend an action on this item. Can you just summarize what we're asking here?
Yeah, basically the summary is we met with TASB. So any employee that does resign, superintendent right now has the only authority to accept the resignation. So at HR, we have to come to the SUP to make sure that we get every single resignation done. So if any principal gets a resignation to their inbox, they will send it to me, and then I get it to Dr. Gutierrez to ensure that we sign it, just to ensure that the process is really smooth, because some, we accept resignations really sometimes on a daily basis. We need the authorization in order to have that in our department over there, and only the board can delegate that authority.
Because basically the resignations go through HR. So to streamline the process of a resignation is to not only myself to approve resignations, approve a resignation, but also to authorize Dr. Canales to approve those resignations as long as he lets me know. And we bring those to the board anyways, but just so that we can process resignations faster. And then, of course, advertise and hire as soon as we can.
Correct. So there's two different ones on there. The one is for during the school year, and the one is to ensure that we do it right when the school year ends. So there's like two different ones. They kind of really just say the same thing, that it just gives authority to accept the resignation really on your behalf as a school board. But we do take them to you all, like, every time we come to the,
I guess I'm just not understanding the circumstance in which this would come up.
I have a big question mark on it too.
so for example, at schools, just say at a comprehensive high school, we have a couple of resignations that come in. They usually submit those to HR, or they submit it through the online portal. In the past, it was HR that would be approving, resignations or take resignations on behalf of the district, and then we will post for those positions. Right now, it's TASB's recommending that this be set in place. If not, everything has to go through the superintendent. So every teacher that wants to resign or choose to resign really has to go directly to the superintendent to accept that resignation.
TASB made this recommendation?
Yes, sir.
So is this an issue of timeliness? Like, is this like,
Perhaps.
oh my gosh, it's, I'm resigning. I mean, is there not enough time? The teachers are like, I don't understand, like, why they're gonna go to him, they're gonna come to us. I mean, there's a whole process already in place. Like, what is the urgency of having somebody else there to approve them?
According to TASB, just a recommendation that they have. I think that the policy that we're practicing was a little older policy, and this is a new updated policy that they're recommending.
So
that part, we don't have to do it that way.
Are we recommending that the Chief Human Resources Officer be this person so that you can approve them? Okay, so
The superintendent
then they
and/or-
still have to go to him?
Yes, he still sees everything that goes through, but he'll be able to process it on our end to be able to post those positions.
Guess there's no harm. It's got 3 layers to go, right?
That's correct.
We trust you, Dr. Canales. I trust you.
No, for sure. Thank you.
This requires action, so can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Canales, for that explanation.
So the next one is the same thing.
The next one is,
it's.
I move
the
we
same.
approve item 11C5.
Wait, which one are we on?
C5.
11C5, it's the same thing, basically.
Yeah, well, trustee De La Garza and I I was just making a quick comment. A lot of times when teachers or anyone gets their contract, like, when does it come? April, May for?
April, May.
April?
April.
You accept it, obviously, everyone wants to work here, it's great. But some things happen over the summer, right? And so I think this is a good system to put in place, so they don't have to wait for our board meetings, or, I mean, it's still gonna go to you, but it just speeds up processes, so whatever happens with our staff, they can accept something else.
That's
So they
correct.
can sign a new.
That's really the biggest issue there is, like, especially during the summer, like, I mean, even though we're off, we're not really off, right? My team is constantly working it. We get people calling, I need to resign, so what happened? We click the submit button, they're officially resigned, so we can post for that position, so we're not waiting weeks to get people hired.
Totally off topic, but I had a former employee reach out to me and said, I have school issued computer, I would like to turn it in. They no longer work for the district. So hopefully when those people are resigning, we can collect at that point before they get their
Absolutely.
last check or whatever it is.
I'm sure that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Supposed to.
Slip through the cracks.
Collected two computers, so.
Oh,
you did? Yes.
Anyway, I move we approve.
Second.
I have a motion, we're on 11C5, by the way. I have a motion by trustee Liceda and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, 7-0. 11D, business and operations. 11D1, discussion and possible action on a resolution providing for the defeasance and calling for redemption. Certain currently outstanding district obligations, delegating to certain district officials and staff the authority to effect matters related thereto and other matters in connection therewith. Woo. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, tonight's resolution will provide for the defeasance to maturity of certain currently outstanding district obligations. Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will present more on this information, and we are recommending action on this item, but I think she covered some of it already in the presentation on the tax rate at the beginning of the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda, second by trustee Kittleman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
The motion has to be read exactly how it is listed on the bottom.
I move to approve the district's defeasance resolution providing for the defeasance and calling for redemption certain currently outstanding district obligations, delegating to certain district officials and staff the authority to effect matters related thereto and other matters in connection therewith.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you for the correction, Ms. Garcia. Item 11D2, discussion and possible action on the approval and adoption of the resolution for the 2024 tax rate. Dr. Gutierrez.
The Truth in Taxation, Texas Education Code and Board Policy, CCG, requires districts to set the tax rate for the current tax year. We are requesting approval and adoption of a resolution for the 2024 tax rate. A recorded vote is required. We are recommending action on this item, and there's a four-part motions that need to be read and followed by the board.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.9966, which is effectively a 8.02% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
It's the four-part.
You want to read them all, and
It's
then
a
we just vote them?
You have to vote on each one.
One at a time.
It's going to be four separate motions, but each motion is a roll call.
Correct.
So we already may have the motion, so we now do the roll call.
Okay. Trustee Thompson, roll call.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
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 It feels so much later than
We're
it is.
just going. Trustee Kittleman?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Good job, team.
Good job, team,
Do the
yes.
next
And then we do roll call on the next one. So I need a.
I move that the maintenance and operations tax rate be decreased for the 2024 tax year by the adoption of a maintenance and operations tax rate of 0.8350.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee Regalado. Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Kittleman.
Aye.
De la Garza Lopez Peña, aye.
Aye.
Rivera.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
I move that the district's debt tax rate be increased to a tax rate of 0.1616.
Second.
Was that trustee
Me,
Kittleman?
Kittleman.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a motion, and a second by trustee Kittleman. Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Kittleman?
Aye.
De la Garza Lopez Peña, aye.
Aye.
Regalado, Rivera,
Aye.
Alicera. Motion carries 7-0. Final one.
Sure. I move to approve the resolution setting the 2024 tax rate of the McAllen Independent School District for the year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Aye.
Kittleman?
Aye.
De La Garza Lopez Peña, aye.
Aye.
Regalado, Rivera,
Aye.
and Aliceda. Motion passes 7-0. Really good job, team. Item 11D3, Discussion of update to MISD policy CDA local, other revenues, investments. First reading, Dr. Gutierrez.
The Public Funds Investment Action requires each local government to have a written investment policy in place. Administration is proposing revisions to policy CDA. This is a first reading. Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will present any revisions, and this item is for information purposes only.
Good evening. This was a joint effort. We did work with two entities on this one. We worked with TASB, and they had provided some recommendations to the district to modify this policy. And then we also worked with our investment advisor, Meter and Associates, and they provided some recommendations on changes. Basically, it is updating the maturity on the different obligations that the district can invest, the investment instruments. So on the first page, you have item number 1, which is they're recommending instead of 3 to make that 5 years, and the same in number 2. And then number 7, commercial paper, not to exceed 365 days, which is a year. And then we have liquidity and maturity that is changing into 5 years to match the first page. And then the district shall establish, instead of the 1-year T-bill, the 2-year treasury note as the risk benchmarks for the portfolio. And then other debt obligations, changing the maturity from 5 to 2 years. And this one discusses the maximum weighted average of the total portfolio, inclusive of all pooled group funds, shall be 2 years. And basically, the weighted average, the maturity, the WAM means all the different securities, they have different maturities, but in total, the average shall not exceed 2 years. And then the same goes for the other sections. TASB did say that our policy was silent on the weighted average maturity on these sections, and so we are recommending adding that under the advisement of our investment advisor for the 2 years to be the maximum weighted average maturity on the different types of obligations and funds. And that was all the changes that they were recommending. And this policy, by legal policy, it requires that the district review it every single year and update it if there are changes and report that to the board.
Thank you so much. That was for informational purposes. We move on to 11D4. Discussion and possible action on competitive sealed proposal number 2025-232-1007 Navarro Elementary School parking lot improvements. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited proposals for parking lot improvements at Navarro Elementary. Mr. Ruben Trevino, our Executive Director, is here to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item. As you know, Navarro Elementary is a very busy facility that we have. We've moved several departments there, and there's a lot of also adult ed programs going on in that campus, but it's limited in parking. So we've been working on this plan, Mr. Trevino, along with the business office, to expand on the parking lot to accommodate all our visitors and our staff at Navarro. And this is a 3-part board member motion to approve.
I'd ask to table this and discuss an executive with legal counsel, please.
Do we need a motion on that, or can we just move it over to exec?
I think we can just move it over.
Can we just move it over to legal?
You can table it temporarily. We can table it.
Okay. Thank you, Trustee Thompson.
Do we need a motion and a?
No, but we're just going to table it, and then we'll come back out to it. Okay, we'll, 11D5, we will be pulling that item. Thank you. We move over to 11E, Board of Trustee items. 11E1, approval of Board of Education meeting minutes. 11E1A, regular board meeting, August 13th, 2024. And 11E2, discussion and possible action of travel for Board of Trustees. Need a motion on these. Do we have, on 11E2, do we have, I guess we'll take a vote on 11E1A, approval of board meeting minutes for regular board meeting, August 13th.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. 11E2, discussion and possible action of travel for Board of Trustees. Do we have travel?
So on the packet, it talks about the TASB interview September 6th, and then there's a convention the last weekend of September. And at the last time, I guess we talked about this, I had asked a little bit more information for the public so that they knew.
That's right, yeah.
Right, so the cost of the hotels is on the packet. So I think that's great to show.
Yeah.
But are we
But none of us
going?
are
Is anybody going to?
I can't go that weekend.
I was gonna say, I thought as a board during budget, we decided that we weren't traveling to trainings. So
If
we don't
we
have to
didn't
vote
have
on
to.
it if we're not
No.
going.
Yeah,
Right.
we didn't have to, we're not gonna travel, so I don't think that any of us are traveling to the TASB unless,
Convention.
you know.
Although I am traveling on the September 6th, I am traveling for the day to Austin and right back.
And that's just one board member.
Yeah,
That's just me.
her, yeah. So,
Well, if I do happen to go, because I'll be in the area, I've already explained to most of you that I will be taking care of whatever I need to take care of myself at no cost to the district. So
Thank you.
if I plan to attend, it'll be coming out of my pocket, not the district, so.
thank you for that, trustee Rivera.
So I'd like seeing this
So
on your
I move to approve item 11E2.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Now, item 12, we will recess to closed session. The Board of Trustees may go into closed session pursuant to sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.089 Texas Government Code to discuss the following: 12A, Human Resources Recommendations for School Year 2024-2025. 12B, Discussion of Human Resources Employee Resignations and Retirees for School Year 2024-2025. 12C, Discussion of the job description for Assistant Director of Emergency Management. 12D, discussion regarding school safety and security. 12E, pending and/or potential litigation. 12F, possible real estate acquisition. At 7:22, we are in recess to close session.
Ready.
At 8:25 p.m., we are back in open session. And let me get myself together here. Item 14, action on items in closed session. I'm going to go back to 11D4, discussion and possible action on competitive sealed proposal 2025-232. No, it's 2025-1007, Navarro Elementary School parking lot improvements. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited proposals for parking lot improvements at Navarro Elementary. Mr. Ruben Trevino, our Executive Director for Facilities and Maintenance and Operations, is available to answer any questions. We are recommending action on this item.
I move to approve the ranking for the selection of general contractor for competitive sealed proposal number 2025-1007, Navarro Elementary School parking lot improvements.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez, I'm sorry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Have another motion, please?
I move to approve that administration begin with negotiations with the highest ranked contractor. If the district is unable to negotiate a satisfactory contract with the selected contractor, the district shall formally and in writing end negotiations with that contractor.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0.
I move to authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in accordance with the procedure set out in Texas Government Code Section 2269.254 once contractor negotiations have been successfully achieved and as discussed earlier.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Rivera and a second by trustee Regalado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Back to our 14A, discussion and possible action of human resources recommendations for school year 2024-2025.
Human Resources submitted a list of recommendations for the 23-24 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. Administration is recommending action on this item. Do I have the year right, 23-24 or 24-25? 24-25. So let me correct that. It's year 24-25.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. And then item 14B, discussion of human resources, employee resignations, and retirees for school year 2024-2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Human Resources submitted a list of resignations and retirees for the 2024-2025 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. This item is for information purposes only.
Item 4C, discussion and possible action on the job description for an Assistant Director of Emergency Management. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration is requesting that the Board of Trustees approve the job description for an Assistant Director for Emergency Management. Administration is recommending action on this item.
Motion?
Move to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Regalado and a second by trustee Rivera. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. And then item 14D, discussion regarding school safety and security.
None.
No. Item 14E, no action on that. Item 14E, pending and potential litigation. No action on that, sir.
No.
And then on 14F, possible real estate acquisition. I need a motion to approve.
Just proceed as directed.
And proceed as directed, just to proceed as directed in
Closed session.
closed session. Item 15, schedule of future meetings. 15A, regular board meeting, Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, 5:30, here at the Ricardo Chapa Boardroom Administration Building. Item 15B, regular board meeting, Tuesday, September 24th, at 5:30 PM here at the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom Administration Building. Item 16, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by trustee Kittleman and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned
Madam President, just for
at
purposes of the minute.
8:32 PM.
Madam President, for purposes of the minutes, the motion was made by trustee Thompson, seconded by trustee Kittleman.
Sorry, trustee.
Don't worry about
Thompson.
it.
Next time, scream.
Get it right. And you.
Seconded by trustee Kittleman. We are scratching the